Uh, Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today for After the Fire. This is Dee Dee Jones with Innovative Financial, and my special guest today is Beth Byerlein. Beth and I have known each other for years, and there's a number of years ago. How long was Sunshine Canyon Fire?
Almost 10 years. 10
Almost
years ago.
10 years ago. Beth experienced what none of us ever want to experience, and that is the total destruction of her home in a fire. And absolutely heartbreaking to hear about it 10 years ago. It's still a tender spot, but because of Beth is who she is, she's a wonderfully detail-oriented person and really a smart cookie. She has really took great care of her family and has made it a point to share the process with other folks so they can be smart as they're going through this post-disaster experience. So, Beth, thank you so much for coming on today. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me, Dee Dee. I'm doing great. I feel really sad for all of those who have lost their homes in the fire. I want you to know that the whole country grieves for you, and it's a terrible thing that you're going through, but you will rise from these ashes, and you're going to be a better person as a result of what you're going through. I know that's doesn't sound like anything right now, but you're going to know how to help when other people need help, and you're going to know what the gratitude of total strangers. You're going to feel that kind of gratitude and how good the universe is. So I'm sorry that you have to go through this. It's going to be a slog, but you're going to make it.
That's wonderfully encouraging words. It's nice to hear from somebody, obviously, who's gone through this. But today our goal is to help give those of you watching, sharing this call with us today, some concrete steps that you can take, some things to think about, empower you to take action where action is needed, and help you know what might be able to be put off. So, Beth, if you had it to do over again, which one hopes you never do, what are some of the first things that would be on your to-do list if you have a house that's burnt to the ground? Where do you start?
Well, the first thing you do is you make sure you find housing. You could stay with friends for now, and probably many of you are staying with friends or relatives. Get out there and find yourself a home. Contact your insurance company. Many of them, most of them have organizations that help you find homes. So connect with your insurance company right away. Second thing would be get a full copy of your insurance policy, not just the declarations page, and get 2 copies if you can, or make 2 copies and read that thing. You're going to find out what you were paying for all these years. Insurance isn't like anything else. You don't even know what you bought until you need it, and then you're at the mercy of whatever you were sold. So,
Right.
yeah, that's the first things. The other things I would say, make sure you have your driver's license, your medical cards in case you have to go to the doctor. If you have Medicare, make sure you have a Medicare card. If your car burned in the fire or truck or something was left outside, you're going to need to get the title replaced, because that's something that the insurance company will settle outside of your home. So get your title, because you're going to need to turn that in and find out what the insurance company is going to give you for your vehicles. That'll be a separate ticket. So that's something I would look at. I think if you're planning to leave the country on a trip, you need to get your passport redone. But aside from those things, I think most things can wait a little bit. I would talk to the post office, make sure they hold your mail, and if you can, you may want to hold your mail at the post office for an extended period of time at your current address. It takes a lot of work to change all of your addresses on all your bills and everything. We were lucky enough to be able to keep our mailbox, and we just went to the mailbox and got our mail. So
Okay. Yeah,
you guys,
I hadn't even thought of that. So
yeah,
there won't be mailboxes for most of these folks. So it'll be
right,
the post office helping out in that situation.
yep,
Well, that's a lot different.
yeah.
So in the very beginning, what's something that you didn't know that you wish you would have at the front end?
Mm. I think it would have been the range of emotions that I would go through on a daily basis.
Oh,
Like, I mean, grief, loss, uh, embarrassment in my case, because I'm a CFP and I didn't have enough insurance. Um, comparing your situation to your neighbors. If your neighbor's house is still standing, they feel as bad as you do. Trust me on that, because they're just like, oh my God,
Yeah.
um, my husband was a rock, but I would start blubbering when I realized that special dish or that table that was passed down 5 generations was gone. I'd lose it.
Yeah.
I had a friend that the day we found out we were losing our houses, he was drawing a new house on the back of a napkin, and his wife was basically catatonic. I'd be driving someplace and have to pull over on the side of the road because I forgot where I was going or what I was doing. And so I wasn't prepared for that. I was raising 2 small kids at the time, just the range of it. And, honestly, I drank every day at 5 o'clock.
Well,
Yeah, I had a drink
so
every day at 5 o'clock.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
How did your kids handle this?
Well, we were fortunate. We had a lot of good friends. They were in elementary school at the time. And so a lot of their family, our friends came forward with books and toys and little stuffed animals. Um, People would say, hey, you want to go swimming? And my kids would go, yeah. And then we go, oh, we don't have any swimming suits. So yeah, that's, you just don't even think about stuff like that. But they weathered it really well. I think my husband and I did a really good job of just trying to keep that stable for them. And that took a lot of energy. That took a lot of energy. When I wanted to break down, I couldn't. And when I had work to do, I really couldn't. So I think that helped actually keep me stable and focused,
Okay. Yeah. And you had pets?
Yeah, we had a cat at the time. We were out of town, so like many of you, we lost everything all at once. We weren't in the cloud. I called my neighbor and I said, "Oh, so I heard there's a fire." I got a call from somebody in Centennial that said, "Beth, there's a fire and it's moving towards you." I called my neighbor that we share the driveway with and I said, "Hey, what's up?" And she said, "Yeah, there's a fire. All the firemen have been deployed." I said, "Can you run into my house, grab my photo albums, which are right next to the television, and grab my cat?" She grabbed my cat, my photo albums, and we lost all of our computers, all of our contacts, all our filing cabinets, all of our photographs from our whole life, because a lot of them were on computer, but we didn't grab the hard drive. So like many of you, everything is gone.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but we did get our cat, and that was pretty fun. We
That
had
was
our cat.
nice. And so now,
But it wasn't so easy to find a house because a lot of people wouldn't even rent to us. Even with our
exactly.
situation, they wouldn't rent to us with a cat.
I'll be darned. Yeah. So there's going to be, it's Boulder County. People are
Yeah.
going to have dogs and cats. It's just going to be the reality of it. So
Yeah.
I know of somebody who's at a residence inn and they allowed a dog. So that's going to be some possibilities, but home rentals are going to be tough. And they're
Yep.
just going to be tough anyway, because we have such a tight market right now.
Well, what I would say to anybody is to tell whoever you're renting from that your dog is a what is that called? Support animal.
A support
Your
animal.
dog is a support animal, and then they have to rent to you in Boulder County if you have a support animal. So just use that one.
Good to know. There you go. Yeah, you've heard it here, folks. We'll help you
Yeah.
get housing. We want you to have housing. So as you started listing off all the things that you've lost, it brings to mind a project I saw you work a lot on, and that was trying to create a home inventory. Can you talk
Yeah.
about that's a huge topic, I know.
Yeah. Yep. Well, let's start by saying that the law in Colorado was changed after the 2011 fire, which is what I was involved in. And I don't know everything about the changes because thankfully I haven't had to look. But in 2013, the Division of Insurance and lots of people involved in the fire, along with a group called United Policyholders out of California, approached the state legislature and they made some changes. One of the things you'll have probably is 2 years to live in your house. And what our situation was at the time, and it could be different now. I spoke to United Policyholders this morning on the phone, and they said that several people now have been able to negotiate with their insurance companies to be paid the full amount of their contents without having to make a list. She said it's interspersed, it's not consistent across insurance companies, and it's not like everybody in the fire with insurance company A will get this benefit. On the website, and link that. I think Dee Dee's going to link that in the links
We'll talk
below.
about that whole organization in a minute because that's huge.
Yeah. I think they have a letter that you can submit. For us, so first, let me just back up for a second, Dee Dee, if we could, just before we hit that part, is a couple tips, because pretty soon you'll be able to go to your property, and the insurance company will want to go with you. So I'd like to talk, if that's okay, Dee Dee, about
Yeah, let's go there.
that process, because that's, right now, that's what's going to happen first. I'm going to advise you to recognize that all insurance companies are not equal. All adjusters are not equal. And I'm not here to badmouth the business, but this is likely the largest financial transaction that you personally are going to be involved in your lifetime. You are negotiating for anywhere from $600,000 to $1 million. That's your negotiation right now. And that's not meant to scare you, but in case of those who work with Dee Dee, you have a fiduciary on your side. That's somebody who works strictly for you. The insurance company, your insurance agent, is not a fiduciary. They work for the insurance company, and they always have. They sold you a product. They tried to, hopefully they did right by you, and hopefully they'll do right by you through this process. But they are not like Dee Dee. So keep that in mind. And as you go to the property, my advice to you is do not go to the property on your first visit with the insurance agent or their adjuster. They'll call you up and they go, let's go to the property together. And you say, no, I'm going tomorrow and I can meet you there on Thursday. Or, give yourself time at the property on your own to grieve. And I would ask you to take that grieving into the day when you meet the adjuster. Don't be all happy. No, you put on that sad face, you're grieving, and use that
Demonstrate that loss, right?
Yeah, and use that to work with your agent. So let them do all the talking. Don't start telling them where, what couch you had or what your piano looked like. Don't tell them what your house, how it was designed. You can say to them, I'll do you a drawing tomorrow. I'll bring you a drawing in 5 days. I'm thinking that for many of you in a subdivision, the subdivision master plan will have the houses and the specs of all those houses. So you may not even have to worry about that. If you have a custom home, you're going to have to produce some kind of drawings and stuff. But don't forget, they have pictures from the sky, Google Earth. They know what your house looks like. So don't try to be like, oh, I had this. If you didn't have it, you didn't have it. Don't lie here. This is not a good time to practice lying. This is a terrible time to do that. Don't do that. So go to the property first with your family. Listen when they talk. Take notes. Ask them, are you going to be my adjuster through this whole process? How will I contact you? Contact them through email when possible. That way there's no confusion about what was said. And if it gets testy, think about waiting overnight before you hit the send button in case things are tricky. Now, in your family, if there's 2 or 3 of you in the family, designate one person to deal with the insurance company. In our case, we designated my husband because he's much calmer than I am, and that turned out to be a good thing for us. I was in a tussle with our insurance company, so was my husband. I had asked for more insurance. I was denied more insurance before the fire, assured that I was covered, and I wasn't covered. So I was deposed 4 times by the insurance company under oath to answer questions. We were trying to go outside of the 4 corners of the document to get more insurance, as I had previously asked. So, designate one person to do most of the talking. Don't talk very much. Don't offer up, I had a piano, I had this, or that broke, or this. Just zip it. You will be able to gather information as you listen to other people in the process, and you listen to some of the education that you'll be given over the next couple weeks. Really keep your mouth shut on that one.
And if you have a device like this, you might consider recording the conversations that you have, because you're dealing with emotions that are up here.
Yeah,
It's going to be hard to remember everything.
yeah, definitely.
Please
Definitely.
consider recording those conversations.
Yep. I took a notebook wherever I went, and my husband is more sitting at a computer, but we lost our computers too. So we had to get a computer, and our notebooks, your spiral notebook is your godsend. You can convert it into your recording or your notes together later, but yeah, talk, listen and write. That's what I would suggest.
Exactly.
What else would I suggest about that process? You know, you're gonna be so sad. You're gonna be really sad. So, and you're gonna start thinking about the things you lost, and depending on who you are, that's gonna have a huge impact on you, and it might not have any impact on you at all. I have friends that they were like, ah, it was just stuff. I don't care. I was happy that nobody was injured. At this point, we were still missing 2 people, but none of the firefighters died in our fire. Nobody was injured, and I was very grateful for that. But it isn't just stuff to you, it's your stuff. And now, if you have to write it all down, which is what we had to do. Oh, so I'm at the fire. We finally meet our agent at the fire, and I had heard that you could ask for them to give you your contents money without filling out every item that you own. And here's how that looks. You had to write down what you had, when you bought it, where you bought it, how much it cost, and then the insurance company depreciated that without telling us what formulas they were using to depreciate our stuff. And then they would say, it's worth this. So my friend writes down that she had a hot tub, it was 10 years old, and they said, well, that's worth 10 cents on the dollar. So if she would want to get paid for that hot tub, she had to buy a new hot tub, install it, and then they would recoup the money. So insurance companies do it differently, and it's not the same across all things. So in our case, at the fire, I meet the adjuster and I said, so I'd like to take 70%, sorry, back up. Your insurance policy is going to be for X dollar amount on your house. Let's just say it's 500,000. Your contents will be about 70% of that. So what is that, Dee Dee, 350?
350.
Oh, good. My math skill's still there. So now you've got $350,000 worth of contents, and you're going to say to yourself, no way, I didn't have that much stuff. So I'm standing at the fire and I said, I'd like you to pay me 70% of my contents value in exchange for me not having to write everything down. And they refused me absolutely on the spot. No, we're not doing that. I was like, shoot, there's no way I have $350,000. I'm telling you, you have so much stuff in your house, you don't even know. So we started writing our lists, and one of the insurance companies, one of our guys was a lawyer. One of the guys who lost his house was a lawyer. And he said, all my stuff is good. If it's chunky, I give it away or toss it. So I'm going to write a list that says, this is what I have. This is when I bought it. I'm going to decide the depreciation value on it, and I'm going to present that to the insurance company. Well, they accepted that from him. So that meant that all of us with that same company, there had just been a precedent set. So we did the same thing. So what we did is I've got some lists here, and I'm happy to give any of you my entire contents list. I was able to remember over 6,000 separate line items, and I got cost for all of it. So what we did was we figured that since all of our stuff was pretty decent and we'd give it away if it wasn't, we had 4 categories of quality. One was excellent. That was something that was brand new. I'm sorry, new. That was new or an antique. If something was new or an antique, we did not depreciate it at all. If it was excellent, we might have given it a 10% depreciation. So if something you bought for $1, now it was worth 90 cents. Very rarely did we slip below that, but when we did, we gave something very good was maybe a 20% discount, and something that was good, we threw in a few of those 50%ers. I never went below 50% on any item that I had. And we did not, and I'm going to encourage you, first, you try to get them to give you 100% of your contents without filling out a list. If they won't do that, do the work. Your objective and your mantra this whole time is, I'm getting every penny of that policy. So we did not submit our lists as we wrote them. We completed our entire inventory. It took over a year to do because we're costing everything out and we both had full-time jobs. You can ask for extensions. They'll say, where's your list? And you say, I need an extension. You put it in writing, I need an extension. So what we did was we got our list together so that even with our depreciation and whatever depreciation they might assign, we had gone way over the amount that we were insured for. We stopped when we were over $230,000 over what we were insured for. And in our case, okay, so like say I was insured for 350,000, we had like $670,000 worth of stuff on our list in the case that they were going to pull some rickety wreck. Well, you'll provide them a list and then they'll provide you a list that doesn't correspond with your list at all. So now you have to go back and forth, make sure they didn't miss anything. But what we did, I don't know if you can see this, but we fill out what it was. We put a category for it, what it was, how long we had it. We included that, but a lot of times they're going to ask you, where'd you buy it? We skipped that category. That's not their business, but they're also going to pull credit report on you anyway. So they're going to know where you shop. If you're a Kmart shopper or you're a Bonwit teller, they're going to know. Sorry, I don't even know if that's around anymore, but they're going to know where you shop, right? Because they can pull all that stuff on you. If I can back up for a second. Don't tell them if you're on any kind of medication. They're going to ask you, are you on a medication? Don't tell them. Don't answer.
Now,
Don't
why
answer that
would
question.
they ask that?
I'll tell you, a friend of mine was met at the property after the fire. She went with the agent. It was the first time she'd seen her house. He started asking her all kinds of questions about what she had in her house. Are you on any kind of medication? Well, this whole thing, and I'm not saying it's the same today, but 10 years ago, it was they work for a publicly traded company and their goal is to keep as much money as they can. As you know, Dee Dee, the market has been very flat for insurers because they have to keep a lot of their money in low interest rates in case something like this happens. So they don't have a lot of money to throw around. They're beholden to investors, and that is not you, little homeowner, that is not you. So, they're trying to find a weakness, or they were at the time, they were trying to find a weakness among the group of people. Who could they strong arm, I guess?
Yeah.
Not trying to slam everybody, because our adjuster was great. She worked with us really hard to get us all of our money and then some. But my neighbor with the exact same company had an insurer that was a nightmare. And so you want to, I'm sorry, they had an adjuster that was a nightmare. So just keep your mouth.
The fact that someone was on medication and
you might be on depression medication,
and so then claimed that they weren't giving good information as a result.
Something, I mean, it was just really suspicious. Why do you even care? When I was deposed, I was asked if I was on medication at the time. And since I'm under oath, I'm going to have to answer that question. No, I'm not. But, they want to know if you're prone to seizures or prone to schizophrenia, or I don't know what they were looking for, but
wow.
Yeah. So keep your mouth shut, take notes, ask how this is going to be solved for you. But if you do have to write a contents list, you can call me. There's going to be a bunch of us at the table over the next several weeks at the resource center.
Let's talk about United Policyholders, because that's an amazing resource.
Yeah. They rolled into town, and they are rolling into town this afternoon. They'll be setting up a table this afternoon, and then it will be there for weeks and months and into a year, however long you need this organization. It's a nonprofit out of California, and I'm not sure what their history is, but they helped us a lot when we had our fire. They would set up these educational events. They would talk to you about what you're going to expect, how to deal with the insurance company. And then they actually worked, like I said earlier, to get the law changed here in Colorado. Most people in our situation had 1 year living expenses. I believe now every insurance company has to give you 2 years out of your home. Okay. Pay for your housing out of your home. So,
and when we get the address for where they're setting up, we will add it in the comments below this. We will also include a link to their website.
It's great.
It's a wealth of information. What we're doing today with Beth is, what does it feel like as a human being going through this, very personal. Their site has the technical stuff. You have a specific question, they seem to have answers for it. So
Yeah.
I think it's a mesh of great data if you're in this
Yeah.
situation.
Well, I just, for us, I mean, to start writing down the things that you lost, depending on who you are, you're going to be fine or it's going to just stink terribly. And so you'll hear these other tips from other people, but you start sharing your list with people. Oh, yeah, I forgot I had that box of screws in my garage. I mean, I'm not kidding you. You're writing down your Band-Aids, your shampoo bottles, your perfume, your lipsticks, your shirts, your underpants. You know, you don't miss a beat because your goal is to get every penny of that policy. And when I was speaking to United policyholders this morning, they said that several insurance companies were granting people the full amount of their policy without making them write it down. I don't know that I would trust that that's going to happen this time, because this is 1,000 houses
Yeah.
and it's going to be a lot of money if they do that. So just be prepared. It's a tough job. So what do you need when you go into the shock phase? You know, you need nice people around you. And I was going to say this. When we first met our insurance, I think we must have met at the property, or maybe it was before that. The insurance companies are going to set up these tables at this resource center, and you're going to go up and you're going to start talking to them, and they're going to say, here, we'll write you a check for $75,000 right now, which is what they offered to us.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
It sounds great. Oh yeah, it's free 70. Wait, that's your money. That's your money. And if you take it now and spend it on, you know, a new shirt or a new pair of shoes, you're not going to have that money in 3 years when you want to buy new shoes and shirts. So I'm going to invite you all to conserve your capital. We were in a position at the time where we had some money on the side. We were also working. So we said, no, we're not taking $75,000. We'll take $5,000. And I think what that sent a message to the insurance company was, we're not desperate. We're not going to be buffaloed by taking a bunch of money now and then you're going to try and screw me later. No, we'll take $5,000 because we had some stuff we needed to buy, but we're not taking 75. So if you can resist that urge, I think you send a signal that you're not someone to be dinked around with, that you're using your marbles. You're not going to fall for a quick fix. That's an effort to make them look benevolent, but it's your money, so it's not benevolent. Don't take it if you can help it. What I would suggest is conserving your capital as much as possible. Our house burned in a forest fire. It was a custom home. Wasn't that great. It was older, but still, to rebuild in the mountains, everything in the Boulder County costs 40% more than you think it's going to cost because of all the regulations here. So if people are offering you a dresser, take it. I still have my table that Dee Dee gave me from the time the fire happened, and I'm still using that table.
Awesome.
So if people are offering you things, take them. You don't know where you're going to end up living or what you're going to want in 2 years or 3 years by the time your house gets built. So, you know, if somebody's offering you stuff, take it. We were fortunate, and I'm not sure if it's going to happen now. I think we'll know in the next couple of weeks. Somebody, all these churches from the South came up north with gobs of stuff in truckloads, and they set up a warehouse here, and all of us from the fire could go there and get stuff. If your friends are offering you sheets, blankets, plates, you know, wooden spoons, dish towels, be happy. If you're not the kind of person who can take something used, I invite you to revisit that because we used every single penny of our contents money to rebuild our house. We were so fortunate that people gave us stuff because we would not have been able to finish our home if we had not done that. So, yeah, conserve your capital.
Yeah, and so what that says, just a reminder, is the money that comes from the insurance company, you get to deploy. So it was housing coverage plus contents. If you want to put it all toward replacing your home, you totally can, which is what you did. Is that right? Okay. That's pretty cool.
So some insurance companies will say to you, this cup burned up and I want $5 for it. And they'll say, we'll give you the $5 for it when you buy the cup. So there were a lot of people who raced out there buying stuff just to get reimbursed. But what I want you to remember is they just discounted this cup to $2 So you have to go and spend $5 to get $2. So keep the math in mind there about their depreciation and what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
If you lost your car or you lost business property and you had a separate insurance policy for those things, you lost tools that you used your business with, you know, those are separate policies that you'll want to understand so that you make sure you get your business property paid for on your business policy. Your auto is paid for on your auto policy. It's not part of your fire, it's your auto policy, right?
Yep.
If you lose a car, my heart goes out to you because it is a really tight market for vehicles. I know Dee Dee has a really good connection.
We can help you with an auto broker, of course, but
Yeah.
it's still tough. And
Yeah.
the prices are still high.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks with older cars don't have comprehensive. They just have the liability component. And so
Yep.
that's going to make it really, really tough.
Yeah, I lost a car in the fire and it was horrible. We were fortunate that a friend of ours just said, "Here, take this car and use it for as long as you like." And then we bought another little beater car, but it was a different time.
It was, yeah. Now is not the time to be looking for a car, unfortunately. But there are folks
Right.
out there who can help you.
Mhm.
Working with a broker, they can scan the entire U.S. and get whatever it is you're looking for, or what you need, and
Yep.
get it replaced. But it's going to cost more than you thought.
Yep.
Yeah,
Dee Dee, that brings up a question you had, one of your clients had about using a broker and adjuster.
yeah. I've not had any experience with. So there's private adjusters, there's public adjusters, and then there's agency adjusters.
Yeah, we
Well,
didn't use any adjusters. First, I know that you give up, I think it's 10% of the
yes.
of the net.
Yeah, of what you
Yeah.
get. And
Yeah.
it's an up to if you start researching. Some will cap it at a dollar amount, but the regulatory cap is 10%, which kind of seems to be where everybody's congregated.
Thanks. I did not, we didn't use one, so I didn't know about that, but we did hear about it. It was certainly an option, and I do know a few people that use them. They more or less just didn't want to deal with it,
Yeah.
didn't want to deal with this process. They had found themselves a house and they just wanted everything to go away, and they were willing to pay the price. I needed, our family needed every penny in that policy, and I couldn't give up
Yeah.
anything. And because, like, I'm kind of like Dee Dee, a little bit of a control freak there. I wasn't about to let someone else get me less than what I was expecting. So
And there's no guarantee when you work with an independent adjuster that they'll get you more than you would have otherwise.
that's correct.
So
And so rely on your friends and family to help you with this process. You know, I have, like I said, I have 6,000 line items. I'll give you my whole list, and you can see, you know, add 10% because the price has gone up. But, you know, you can just, if you had what I have, you can just copy my list. So people worked together to remember things. And we did not use a public adjuster or a private adjuster. We found that by working with our friends and leaning on our friends, leaning on our work business associates, we were able to fill out a list and get it done. But we were persistent. We were incredibly persistent, and you're going to need that. You're going to need like rims of steel right now.
Wow. Yeah. Lots of things of steel. I can only imagine.
I didn't say those things because, yeah.
Oh, no. It's all good. Steel. It's important. But
yeah.
So unrelated to the folks dealing with this right now, what do you do for a home inventory right this minute? Have you photo inventoried your home or videoed it or done anything?
Yeah, we have photographs. What all of you should do if you haven't lost your home, you take your phone and you walk around your house and you take pictures. A lot of people will do a video, and that's fine to do too, but you remember when you have to write everything down, you've got to stop that video and write everything in that frame anyway. So I like the idea of just taking pictures.
Okay.
You could put it on a thumb drive and send it to your sister in California. You
Or
could put it in the cloud. You can put it in the
yes,
cloud.
folks who work with us have unlimited storage capacity. So use
One
your
of the one of the things with it being in the cloud is, you know, well, there's whatever you feel about the safety of that, that's on you. But one of the
well,
things we found is that if you're talking about a piece of artwork in your house and you stood back from the artwork and you took a picture of the carpet that was 20 years old, and the picture of the art was in the frame also, The carpeting may give some indication to an insurance company about the quality of that carpet, and then they might discount that carpet a certain way. So
Interesting.
you want to, get up close on your artwork, get up close on your stuff, um, and keep that in a place where you want to keep it. One of the things I recommend to people, and gosh, I'm sure that half of us don't have it done, you make a little list of the things in your house that you need to grab in a fire. And if you're watching this video and your house did not burn, you know now that it can burn through a subdivision in a matter of hours, and it could be your subdivision next. When our home burned, there was a fire out in California that took out about 60 homes inside of a town at the same time, same weekend as our fire. So inside your kitchen cabinet, you have a list. I need my cell phone. I need my cell phone charger. I need my laptop. I need my laptop charger. I need my hard drive. I need my hard drive. You got a list of all the things you need to take in a hurry. And actually, you may want to keep those things all in a bundle. Like in my case, I have a plastic tub in my attic that has all my photo albums, copies of this, copies of your social security card. Everything's in a box now. And if shit hits the fan, sorry, if it hits the fan, I run up there, I grab that box, and I throw that in my car.
Yeah.
So make those lists. And we just don't do it because we just think, oh, no,
Yeah.
I know that some of you are running out of your houses with your hair on fire practically. So,
Yeah, no,
um,
and I think we'll do a video later on and talk at more length about what does it look like to be prepared for an emergency like this.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
because that's critical. And if you've got that planned for, it can sure make other things easier to deal with, knowing check that's off the list. What else do we need to do?
And what's good about having it in a conspicuous place is if you have a few people in your house, Jamie, go get this. Beth, go get that. You're ordering people around to gather stuff.
Yep.
You know, for those of you who are impacted by the fire, you're going to want certain things and you're going to not want certain things. And what I would like to say about all that is that people who are standing alongside of you, or all the people that are wanting to do something for you, find a place in you that lets them do something. Make a list of some things that you would love. Could you make me a sewing basket? I could really use some file folders and some scissors. Could you make me a little office pack? Start a list of things that you would use and love, and get over your pride about it. Get over your climb over that hill, because when you let someone do something for you, you create this little loop in the universe that give and take and give and take, and it adds kindness in the world, and it helps people who can't do something because they're helpless. They cannot fix whatever's going on for you. They cannot help you. But if you give them something to do, it alleviates their anxiety, and there's less anxiety in the world then. So find things that you can let them do, and let them do it. If you don't want food, just say, please don't bring me any food. Or, you know what? We want bags of potato chips, Cheetos, and some granola bars. We would love some yogurt and granola. We don't like meat. Tell your friends what you want and tell them what you don't want. But when somebody brought us boxes of their old shoes and their old clothes, we didn't say, no, thank you. We said, thank you. And we wrote it down, what they gave us, and we were able to write thank you notes to everybody at the end. There's a website, about, it's called Give, Send, Go, I think it's called. It's a Christian website, much like, what's that other one that takes a percentage? GoFundMe.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is a Christian website. They don't take any anything off the top. Yeah. So if you wanted to set one like that up for a friend of yours, you sure could. You might gather a bunch of things at your house and say, hey, do you want to come over? Is any of this of interest to you? If it's not, don't be ashamed. But I mean, I do have friends that it would never take anything that belonged to somebody else. That was not our situation.
Yeah. So we've got a question from a viewer.
Yeah.
What was your experience with your mortgage company? The house is burned down, but you still have a mortgage. What is that all about?
Thanks for asking that question. Dee Dee and I talked about that early. We still had to pay our mortgage. We paid our mortgage every month. And
when the insurance paid out, was the check made jointly to you and the mortgage?
Correct. Yeah. They would make the checks to us and the mortgage company. And so, we had to cash and the mortgage company knew the check was coming. So I would suggest that you would contact your mortgage company, first contact your insurance company and see what they're going to do. And then contact your mortgage company and see what they would do. Maybe they would let you delay your mortgage for 2 years while you're in the process of rebuilding. They'll tack that on to the end. You're going to spend more interest on your mortgage, but you will, of course, not be able to refinance. So it may be different now, but we had to pay our mortgage every month.
Okay.
And you know what? When it came out to the end and we had this new house, we were 2 years ahead. So yeah, it stunk, but we did it.
And you were both still working. So
yeah,
your mileage may vary. This is going to be one of those unique places. But you're pointing out that the insurance companies can handle it differently, as can the mortgage company. So it's going to be one of those important places to go out and check out what's going on.
And you will handle it differently.
Right. Yeah. And what's your cash flow? So you didn't have a FEMA declaration in where you were, right?
No, we did not. No, they did not declare it a natural disaster.
Okay. Yeah. So this one is going to be different. There will be FEMA funds going out. I took a quick look at the FEMA site. I will tell you, to get a lot of data, you actually have to start the application process. So my data is very cursory, but you have to be in an area where it's declared a disaster area, which it was. You have to have had your house damaged or destroyed. Clearly, that's the case. Your needs aren't being met by some other federal program, and there's not a lot of federal programs that I'm aware of right now. And you have to be underinsured or uninsured to be eligible for FEMA. So that might eliminate a lot of folks from eligibility. So as time goes on, we'll watch out where that is. But there's no offset between FEMA and insurance payouts.
Yeah, and you won't know if you're underinsured until you get your dang house built. You don't know.
Yeah, right? So the FEMA applications may trickle in for quite a while on this.
I know, Deb Duty, that you'll know because you're in the tax world, but I believe for us there were some tax rebates if you had a certain income level and your insurance payout was X. That'll be something that'll be a couple years down the road with your clients for sure. But,
and because of it being declared a disaster area, the tax due dates will be extended. I'm sure it hasn't yet, but they do this with every federal disaster. So those folks, there's enough on your plate. Trying to get your taxes done is a tall order. On the plus side, all the tax statements won't be mailed for another couple of weeks, so they'll be sitting ideally at the post office being held for you. So
yes, was I going to say something there about sorry, it'll come back. Maybe
it'll come back to you. Yeah, no problem. Let's see. And while you have your mortgage, it's primary residence mortgage. The interest and the property taxes are still deductible. So that even though there's no house there, that tax benefit continues to exist. I'm trying to. I made a couple of quick notes here.
Well, while you're looking at those, I just want to say that United Policyholders is sponsoring the workshop. I think they're out at the Y. I'm not positive of the address, but Dee Dee will post that. You can stop by there for all kinds of help. Make sure you visit the Red Cross table. Make sure you stop by United Policyholders, sign into their booklet, and they'll keep you posted about where they're going to do workshops and things like that. It was really helpful for us. If you have a chance, find other people in your community that have the same insurance company, bond with them, work together, stick with that, make your own little tribe with those people. And
that's a great use for a Facebook group, if I may, is create a Facebook group for everybody who had XYZ insurance. That way you can keep everyone updated. It's electronic, love or hate Facebook, but if you're watching this, there's a good chance that's where you're watching from. But it really, easy to do, easy way to keep people involved and up to speed. So use technology. I mean, we've got technology now that wasn't as prevalent when Beth experienced this. And leverage it as much as you possibly can. So how long did it take between the fire and you getting things settled with the insurance companies?
Well, I hate to tell you this, but it was over 2 years.
Okay.
I think it was 2 years for us.
Right.
And
And there were
we were
60,
in,
60 homes, right?
there were 200 and like 238 homes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So one
So
quarter the size.
yeah, one quarter the size. And it took us a long time because we were both working. We had originally hired a contractor, an architect to design a house. We went down that road a little bit, decided not to. My husband bought a software program, designed our house himself. So now he has 3 jobs and I had 1 or 2.
So her
And so,
husband's uniquely skilled in
yeah,
a
yeah,
polyglot. Is that the right word? Poly
yeah.
something or other.
Right. And here's a tip, this market is going to be flooded with all kinds of hacks from all over the country trying to build your house.
Yeah.
Stop, wait, don't do that. And they're going to come flying in. I remember when the flood happened in 2013, there were just truckloads coming in of 20 on 36. So be careful that you find a reputable builder. It could be that a builder will come in and rebuild that whole subdivision for you all. I don't know what will happen,
Yeah.
but it's likely that your costs to rebuild are going to be much higher than your insurance company is going to be prepared for us, and for you probably. They're going to say that the whole neighborhood could have asbestos in it. We had to containerize every bit of dirt. Like we had to dig down 6 inches of dirt at our house and put it all in enclosed containers and have it hauled off to special disposal because they said that everybody up here had asbestos in their home. So I don't know what that's going to look like for y'all, but I'm going to just suggest conserving your capital. I think that was the best thing that we did, was turn down that big chunk of money at the beginning. You're going to buy stuff over the next year and a half that you're going to say to yourself later, why did I do that? Like I have this little weird little bed up in my house. Yeah. So,
Well,
yeah,
sometimes shopping is therapy.
it was,
Yeah.
it
No,
was,
I mean, and
it
that's going to be
was.
part of it. But I think that's really, really sage advice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so 2 years
Don't
out.
rush.
Yeah.
Don't rush this process.
Yeah. Take your time. Trust that there's people around you that can help.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you don't know who that might be, reach out to us. We will get you pointed in the right direction.
Hmm.
Beth is an
Yeah.
expert. I'm just somebody who likes to connect folks. So
Yeah.
we'll do our best. You need that car, let me know. We can connect you up with somebody who can help you there. Um, and as time
Oh,
has gone on, what's happened for you? How have you changed your view on world, housing, insurance?
yeah. Well, one thing I know now that I didn't know before was my insurance agent does not work for me. At the time, we were the situation in the country at that time was, if I say I want $500,000 worth of insurance, then I've picked the number and it's not on the insurance agent. You know why your insurance agent doesn't call you all the time, talk to you like Dee Dee does? That's because if they start creating a relationship with you, it makes it look like they're watching out for you. So, I mean, not to blast everybody, but yeah, that's the biggest thing that I learned. Go
Okay.
ahead. You were going to say something?
Well, I was just, so how do you handle your insurance now? What do you do differently?
Well, we switched insurance companies. We switched agents, and now we're with a different insurance company entirely. I feel more confident that they are more aligned with us. I spent a lot more time talking about what I'm looking for, so that I'm clear that I want to be overinsured and I'm happy to pay for it.
Yeah.
Um, I think with the insurance claim, your deductible is waived. I believe that's going to be the case on a big catastrophic fire like this. I'm not sure, but some things that I've learned. First, that tub of stuff that you need to jump and go with, that's a really good thing. And, if you want to go look at your photo albums, you go to that tub. You don't go to the shelf. They're in the tub. Having pictures of your stuff is really important. Um, uh, but I think the thing that I learned the most was how generous total strangers are. And I can't tell you what a difference that made to me. Like I was always felt pretty lucky and, blessed, but the outpouring of the kindness was something I never expected. And that changed me permanently.
Oh, wow.
Um, changed me permanently. For those of you who do not choose to rebuild, the insurance company will not give you the full amount of your policy, right? But maybe you were planning to go to Tennessee anyway, so that's okay with you. Um, you get paid if you rebuild. You get the full amount if you rebuild, but you don't get the full amount if you don't rebuild.
What do you get if you don't rebuild? Do you know?
It depends on the insurance company, but they will basically depreciate your house. I'm not positive this is how it works, right? Because Dee Dee called me yesterday and said, "Hey, can you talk?" And here we are talking.
I know.
But
I know. And for those of you out there, if we get a bunch more questions, maybe we can prevail upon Beth to join us again to
sure,
be more specific.
absolutely.
Today, we were just trying to get the overview.
Yep. So, say they depreciated the house value because you lived in it. It was there for 30 years. Now it's not worth the same amount, even though we know that doesn't work in this market. They may not give you the full value of your policy. Maybe they'll give you 80% or I'm not speaking for an insurance agent. And I want you all to know I'm not an attorney. I'm just somebody that went through this. I'm not qualified to answer, a lot of the questions.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think we have shared so much information that most folks are going to be exhausted as they get to this point in our video. I want to thank Beth so much for coming
Thanks for having
today.
me.
It's got to be emotionally taxing to talk about this, to see it happen to all these other people. And I thank you so much for sharing
Yeah.
today and for
Thank
volunteering
you.
with the United Policyholders
Yeah.
Group.
Thank you.
We'll
Thank
get
you.
the details posted on where they'll be physically, a URL. There's another resource I will post with some more, general living resources. KBCO had a really great resource. So we'll post those up for folks. And as we learn more, we will share more. But
Yeah.
in the meantime, we hold you in our hearts, and
Yeah.
we would
I
love
want
to.
to say one thing.
Oh yeah,
I want to say one thing. Like, if you're staying with friends or family right now, and I don't think I mentioned it, but I've been thinking about it, you can get them paid by your insurance company as part of your housing.
yep.
And you would also want to ask your insurance company, hey, if I can stay with my family for 6 months and it doesn't cost me anything, does that extend my living expenses for the 2 years where it costs me something?
Yeah.
So when we stayed with my family and then we stayed with a friend, we had the insurance company write them checks. It took off we had a 2-year window. It took some time off that, but I felt like it compensated my friends for stepping up. So I
Yeah.
thought that was really,
Yeah. So
yeah.
lots of tiny variables on each of these
Mhm.
pieces as you go through. So
Mhm.
as our viewers have questions, please share them with us. We'll add some data to the videos, like I said. And thank you for joining us. Share this
Thank you for
video.
having me. Thank
Oh,
you for having me.
and share this video
Blessings
with
to
other.
all you.
Yes. Well, take
Blessings to all you guys. I'm sorry you have to go through this, but you're going to be such a great human being after it's done.
fire is cleansing. Ugh, that's
Yep.
hard to even say out loud. But again,
Thank you.
thank you. And thank you for joining us. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye, Dee Dee.
Bye-bye.